What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Shortly after the documentary 2 came out, the game began teasing his next body of work, which was titled 1992. The big catch about this album is that it was going to have no guest features, which is something Game has never done in his career. He's never put out a project that had no guest features on it. So that was like the huge statement about that. And then I was very interested to hear how it'll sound. Like, can Game actually carry himself an entire project? And I felt like he could, because he is an artist who, when he does have his solo songs, and even when he has guest features, like, he doesn't tend to get outshined a lot. He uses the guest features to work with him as opposed to just like outshine him. So I've always had confidence that Game can do it. Unfortunately, 1992 is a little misleading. While you can look at the track listing on iTunes and see that there are no guest features listed, sans the last track, which is a bonus track. It's called All Eyes. It features Jeremiah. But in the rest of the album, there are some guest features. You have Jason Derulo on the hook for Baby You. You got two other people that are featured on a few songs, but I think they're very minor. So the only one that's really prominent is the Jason Derulo. That's the only big name besides Jeremiah, of course. So he pretty much executed his vision almost, but he does have a couple features on here. So it doesn't quite work out in the way that he advertised. And I'm not saying that in a bad thing, because ultimately it boils down to, if the music is good, then the music is good. So the run for 1992 really began with 92 Bars, him going at Meek Mill. And that's unfortunately been all the campaign thus far. That's what he was banking on to really drive the buzz home. What you need to know about 92 Bars is that it's far from the best thing on the album. In fact, within context of 1992, it just doesn't fit. And I'll get more into that in a little bit. If the cover of 1992 looks familiar to Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style cover, it's because the same artist did it. Joe Cool designed Snoop's cover, and then the Game went and found him and got his cover done for 1992, and I really like it. I like that Game is very nostalgic. Now, there's no other like Snoop references on the album, just because at the time Snoop's Doggy Style really wasn't out. And 1992 for the Game was a big year. He was 12 years old, and this was the year that he started gangbanging. I was watching this Breakfast Club interview, and he was kind of breaking down. And then a lot of stuff was going on. You know, the LA riots happened, and him just being at an age where he's soaking up all this hip hop and other genres as well. You have samples on here, and I think the samples are really what makes this a concept album, because it gives you that sense of nostalgia. So some of the samples on here, you got Ice-T, you got Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, you got Marvin Gaye. Those are just a couple that are featured on here. I think it's a really cool concept, and oftentimes it excels. Like, if you don't even know some of these songs, for instance, you might have heard them in movies, sampled in other hip hop songs. There's moments on here where I was like, okay, this is very familiar. I don't know the actual song, but I can say that I've heard this because either it's from, you know, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or somebody else sampled it. Like, you hear these moments. Like, one of them is Fuck Orange Juice, which is a very short record that uses the classic beat of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's The Message. It's not even a sample, it's like the actual beat. So it was weird, because you have Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, they originally used it. You've had Ice Cube use it. So it's kind of like you have high expectations, and I don't think Game was able to live up to those with this particular record. It's like a weird fit. It has potential because he's talking about race and how, you know, white people vote for Trump, but they don't give a fuck about OJ, and, you know, seeing how, like, the whole OJ case and the show, like, Game was talking about that, and how nobody wants to, you know, defend him, but they'll let Trump do whatever the hell he wants to do. But at the same time, the record is very short, so he really doesn't get his point across well enough, because it's only a minute and 14 seconds. One of the records that I really enjoyed on the project was Colors / It's On. The song samples Ice-T's 1988 song of the same name, Colors, and it's a story about the Game's birth, in a sense. He talks about how his mom and dad met, his mom being a Crip, his dad being a Blood, and just talking about how they got together, how they were able to have the game, and then how like drugs played a huge role in his life growing up. Obviously, gang banging and drugs, it was something that kind of tore his family apart. And he talks about like extended family members as well. Like he raps, "Mama in the kitchen cooking, pops on the couch bagging, cousins loading Louis Vuitton duffels in the station wagon." I really felt like him on his storytelling is at his strongest because he was very detailed with it. He told a lot on this particular song. When it was first released as a single, I kind of just listened to it, skimmed through it, but when I got into the album and really got into the concept, I had to keep rewinding it because it was just so good. It's really strong storytelling to me. It's almost like after However Do You Want It, the game sort of just throws whatever on the album. I was kind of hinting at this in the beginning where I talked about how 92 Bars doesn't sound like it belongs on the album, and All Eyes featuring Jeremiah definitely doesn't. But after However Do You Want It, you don't have any more of those samples. You don't have that sense of nostalgia anymore. Baby You, the one that has Jason Derulo on it, it's disappointing because I've never really been a fan of Game songs that are centered around women. Like, I don't get me wrong, I like the message, I like what he's saying. It's a message to his ex, and it's done in a nice way. But I don't really think that Game's female songs have really been like my favorite throughout his career. That's not why I go to Game, and I think that's another reason why All Eyes is kind of like, you know, whatever to me. And then you got What Your Life Like, and it's a cool song, but it's just not themed for the album. So after the first 9 songs, it's kind of like you're getting 4 songs that just felt like they were tossed on. There was really no reason for 92 Bars to make the cut. It's a dope record, yes, hard-hitting disc, but it doesn't fit at all to the concept of 1992. The Game tried to pull together a concept album, but he kind of falls short towards the end. 1992 has enough material on it to be stronger than the 2 soundtracks that Game put out over the summer, Block Wars and Streets of Compton. But I think it ranks a lot lower in his actual album discography. It's definitely not better than the documentary 2.5, and if I were to really rank it, it's probably not in the top 3. But nonetheless, it's a nice concept album. I think Game should continue to do these concept projects. Like the soundtracks were focused on that too. Like Streets of Compton was really focused on Compton, and it went with the A&E documentary. So I think Game doing these concept albums is a really smart thing for him to do. So definitely go check out 1992, listen to it, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.